In this video, we got 2 items to remove before this thing goes off for its appointment. Stay tuned. Welcome back and/or to the channel. Today we are removing the tow hooks on the front of our Silver Swine. Now I have a special reason for this. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but they do need to be removed because I do not want undercoating on them. So we're going to go ahead and pull off our tow hooks now. Pretty simple process. We're going to go ahead and use our impact with our 17mm 6-sided socket so we don't round it over. Now this will make more sense when we go to take these down, but let me move some things around, get you set up, and we'll get you underneath and get these things buzzed off. Before we begin today's video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell for future videos. If you're on Rumble, please hit that Rumble button and make sure you follow or subscribe. All social media links are listed in the description down below, so go check out the one of your choice. Now let's get back into today's video. Now this side has a fancy tow hook right here. I'm going to see if I can get another one for the other side because I do want my tow hooks on here instead. But there's also a tab here that they could hook a chain into. So I do want to remove both of these. So what I'm going to do is just slide underneath, and I'm going to go ahead and buzz these down quick. Okay, 2 bolts, knocks it down. Now we're going to move over to this side here. Okay, this side has a much longer bolt, obviously, for the hook. Okay, so when you do undo that last one, it goes ahead and pulls the whole assembly out. So I'm just going to lift that off, set this down here. What I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to tape these holes off for when they do the undercoating. So I do need to go ahead and put some tape on there now. Okay. So I do want to cover these holes because what we're sending this thing out for, I want to make sure that we don't get anything up into these holes. So I'm just going to run a piece of tape in here like this, just to kind of cover these over. Okay, and I'm going to want to do this on the other side here. Okay, so now those are covered over for when we do whatever we're doing here. At some point, I might come back and do a taping video here because we are going to want to do some different stuff here to kind of make sure we cover some of these here. These are kind of important, so we may be coming back for these things here. All right, so here we go. These are our tow hooks. The reason we remove these is I have a special idea that I want to do with these. So for now, we're going to go ahead and set these off to the side, and with everything we got going on this truck, we very may well forget about what we're doing with these until closer towards the end, just because of the fact that this is kind of one of those last detail things. This isn't necessarily my first thing that I'm going to go to doing. If I get a chance and I'm able to just go at it, I will get them done, but they're not high priority as far as the projects on this truck. Now, one thing I'm doing is I'm keeping the bolts with them. That way I have everything together that I need. Like I said, this side had a tow hook on it. This side did not. I would like to get the tow hook that would match. Now the hook kind of curls underneath where the chain would get hooked into. So I kind of want to do that same setup for this side so that it looks the same to left to right, plus it'll give me an extra tow hook if I need it. Because sometimes you need two, so you can run a chain across and double up the strength of the chain. That way you don't have an issue pulling, because you're not trying to pull one side. You're actually pulling the whole thing. Gives you a lot more torque, and it is a lot less pressure on the frame of the truck. So let me set these off to the side. Okay, so we're almost fully prepped. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tie this into this tow hook video into where this truck is going and what our plans are for it. We obviously know it's the build for the channel, both channels, both Rumble and YouTube. Now, the thing is last time I got really bogged down on trying to do the undercoating on the Crimson 5.7. If I get a chance, I'm gonna go ahead and just slide one of those videos in the tag up above for my YouTube people on Rumble. I'm not caught up yet. I will try to get caught up as soon as I can so that you can do that video. Now, the reason I got so bogged down, so there was so much going on that for me to do the rest of the truck, I had to get the undercoating or rust coating on the frame. And it was such a massive project that it bogged me down. So I don't want to do that this time. This time I want to focus on the build itself, not on a project that's going to stagnate me and drag me down. So I am sending the truck off to a company, a local company, Mankato Coatings. They're going to go ahead and do the undercoating, the rust prevention in the doors, tailgate, and in the frame, which is basically a wax that they fog into the bottom of the door. They will fog into the bottom of the tailgate, and they will fog the frame. That'll give me the time to be able to really focus on doing this build and not get bogged down on the additional stuff that I need to do that's for this vehicle. Now, the other thing they're going to do, and I'm really happy about this because this box does have some scratches and some dings. You can see a pretty nasty one right there. Is we are putting a bed liner in here. And I do plan on asking them to wrap this upper edge at least to the top crown here. So there'll be a top crown which will cover this little dent right here, which is hard to see, but I'll move you in, which will cover that little dent and run along that top edge. Now what that does is gives us protection if we decide to reach into our box like so to grab something and pull it out, that we're not going to scratch up this rail. Right now we would scratch this rail really bad, and there is some rub marks that we have to buff out of the tailgate that are up along this upper edge that we are going to have to buff out. When we go to buff those out, you'll see exactly how labor intensive buffing really is. I'm trying to wait until it kind of cools down here. It's a little warm here, but yeah. But yeah, I'm very happy about having this bed liner sprayed in here. It's really going to add value to this truck. It's really going to make a big difference on the look, the feel, and the handling. Now the only difference is this truck doesn't have very high side rails. The side rails are very short. So I'm hoping that they're willing to go ahead and do this wrap up around the top because those sides are so short. I won't know until I get there and they see the truck. But this is kind of what's coming up for the build. This is where this truck is going. Now, I may do some taping video yet. I haven't decided. I'm going to call them. Well, now it's the weekend, so I'm going to wait until Monday. I'm going to call them and find out, okay, if I tape this off for them, are they able to do a lot better job on the undercoating? I'm going to let them know that I am going to be filming what they're doing and critiquing it. So the better they do, the better they're going to look. If they miss a bunch of stuff, I may be disappointed. Again, I'm paying full price for this. They're not giving me a discount. They're not giving me any breaks in the price. So I'm free to critique their performance and their review however I see fit. So if I see that there was a bunch of stuff that was missed, trust me, I'm going to let you guys know. And this is why I don't necessarily work with sponsors. This is why I don't necessarily work with other companies to try to do builds like this. Because if I do, I'm subject to giving them favorable reviews. And I don't like doing that. I like being 100% honest with you guys at all times, no matter what the situation is. If I have to feel like I have to compromise the quality just to do a build, or if I have to say something that may be less than positive, I have the right to do that because I paid full price for it. I'm the one who's reviewing the products because I paid full price. So now that we've got an idea of where we're going here, this is kind of the layout of what we have. We're going to be doing an undercoating. We're going to be doing rust protection. We're going to be doing a bed liner. Now, all steps that we've done so far have led up to why we have to do what we have to do. When I go to have the underside waxed, I needed to have my rocker and scuff panel stuff done, because if any wax got on there, I wouldn't have been able to put these adhesive stickers on this rocker panel. So with the undercoating and the bed liner done, we'll be able to move into our next step. Our next step will be buffing this paint out and starting to put accessories onto the truck. Now there still is a few items I have to purchase yet, but for the most part, most of the bigger items are here, so we can get started on them. Now, the thing we're going to run into with the buffing is there's so much little scratching all over that I'm going to have to do a lot of spot buffing to get some of the major stuff, and then I'm going to have to do a full buffing job to really get this truck to shine and polish up. So it is going to be a little bit more intensive when we get to that process. Also, the reason that we're doing this in steps, I've mentioned it in other videos, but I want you guys to know, is that when you do a build, you want to do it in a proper sequence. If you miss a step or forget a step, when you go back to try to redo or fix something that you forgot about, you're going to be undoing a bunch of things that you didn't want to undo. So taking the time to kind of think things through, go slow, and maybe make a project list would be the best idea to do. If I get a chance, I'm going to try to do a project list here in the near future on the Silver Swine. Now I am partially way into the build, so the project list, it will probably have some check marks on it or some X's because we did a bunch of stuff. But that's one video that you guys can look forward to kind of as a sneak peek, is that I'm going to go ahead and make a project list for this truck. And you want to do this for any build, because if something happens to you or the truck gets stalled out, at least you know where you are in the project, to where when you get back to it, you'll be able to pick it up and go, okay, I still got this to do, this to do, this to do. I've already done this, I've already done that. I don't need to worry about those. But like I said, knowing the direction that you're going makes a difference in what you do. I didn't want to put any of my lights on. I didn't want to put the bumpers on. I didn't want to do any of that until the undercoating was on, because once I put the undercoating on, then I can put my bumpers on. That way I don't have undercoating sprayed on the backside of my bumpers. Again, it's just those little details that really help in the final build of the truck. Plus, if you get a little bit of overspray, let's say they do get a little bit of undercoating that sprays up here, you're able to clean it off and take care of it because you're removing the bumpers anyway. You don't have to feel bad about there being a little bit that you have to clean up. The problem is when you do things out of order. When you do them out of order and out of step, there's times that it winds up getting you in more trouble. So taking the time to plan out your build makes all the difference in the fit and finish of the vehicle. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. Please hit that like button, hit that rumble button, smash that subscribe button. Check out the social medias listed in the description down below, and I'll see you on the next one.